Continuing to cover specialized forces across our focus region, we once again turn our attention to Germany, this time the Marine force known as the Sea Battalion. Similar to other amphibious and coastal defense forces we've covered, let's have a look at this unit, its structure and its equipment for today's video. According to the official Bundeswehr website, the German Navy's Sea Battalion consists of 8 companies led by a headquarters component. There are 2 maritime operations companies, a shore force protection company, a clearance diver company, a reconnaissance company, and a support company. Together, these subunits cover a broad spectrum of military capabilities, while 2 training companies focus on the training of recruits for their future tasks. We should note that this information, while coming from the official Bundeswehr webpage, appears to have been last updated in July 2021, and so we're not sure if the structure has changed since. One of the battalion's main roles is to protect the German Navy's vessels, bases, and shore-based facilities in Germany and abroad, as well as on the high seas and on the shore. However, the battalion's other capabilities range from ship examinations, explosive ordnance disposal, evacuation operations, and the protection of merchant ships and ports against terrorist threats to multinational amphibious operations. The Bundeswehr explains that the Sea Battalion's clearance/EOD divers may be tasked with disarming booby traps as well as sea and land mines. Meanwhile, the Shore Force Protection Company secures beaches and ports, engages in house-to-house combat, and protects vehicle convoys. The Reconnaissance Company, the unit's eyes and ears, uses, among other things, unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs to search coastal regions. The subunit also employs snipers and other personnel to gather comprehensive information. Finally, the boarding teams of the maritime operations companies are tasked with inspecting suspicious vessels or protecting German Navy vessels against attacks. This type of force structure is actually quite similar to Lithuania's Fusilier Battalion, which invited us to hang out with them in the summer of 2025. Considering how much cooperation there is between Lithuanian and German forces in general, we wouldn't at all be surprised if Lithuania's unit was modeled after the Sea Battalion. Lithuania's Fusilier Battalion is relatively young, as it was founded in 2022. However, Germany's Sea Battalion actually isn't that much older, being established in 2014. Yes, components of this naval infantry force have much deeper roots, but the Sea Battalion as a unit is indeed just a little over 10 years old. An April 2026 article by the website defenseandaviation.info states that the unit is based in Eckernförde in Schleswig-Holstein. It's added that the force consists of approximately 1,100 soldiers. Another April 2026 article, this time by the Bundeswehr, notes that in the future the core of the Sea Battalion will be 3 to 4 uniformly trained combat companies. It said that the commander's plans for this provide for the introduction of standardized training for the Marine infantrymen. In addition to the Marine infantry companies, there'll continue to be support and supply units, and the mine clearance/EOD diving company will also remain part of the battalion. Interestingly, it said that the Finnish and Swedish coastal amphibious forces serve as the model for the structure and training of the German Marines, because these forces are specifically designed for deployment along coasts, fjords, and archipelagos. On this topic, the commanding officer was quoted as saying, "Thanks to close cooperation with the Finns and Swedes, we benefit greatly from their experience. We look at what works for us and already receive considerable recognition for our capabilities during joint exercises." Even though much is said to be currently changing in the Naval Infantry Battalion, one thing will not change, the commander emphasizes, saying, "We are Marines. We wear the blue uniform with pride and are connected to the sea. True to our motto, from land to sea, from sea to land." Despite their designation and role, it's highlighted that the Sea Battalion is not an expeditionary force like some equivalent units from large allied nations. Indeed, the German Navy has no amphibious assault ships or even landing craft. A 2023 report by A&T noted that the German Navy intended to purchase up to 15 multi-purpose combat boats that were quote-unquote off the shelf and have quote already been introduced in another navy, ideally in a navy of a member or partner state of NATO. The website added that since a bespoke development solution was out of the question, observers of the project assumed that it would be a showdown between the Watercat M18 AMC system from the Finnish manufacturer Marine Alutech and the combat boat 90 from the Swedish company Saab. Interestingly, and perhaps unfortunately, we haven't seen any further news on this intended acquisition. Even though the Sea Battalion lacks its own landing craft and combat boats, German Marines can be used as a landing force thanks to a bilateral agreement that was signed 2 years after its founding, which leads us to discussing the unit's close cooperation with the Dutch naval infantry, the Korps Mariniers. Together, these German and Dutch naval infantry forces form a binational amphibious group. According to a 2016 article by Defense News, the agreement between Germany and the Netherlands includes a provision allowing the German Navy to use the Dutch Navy's 205-meter Karel Doorman, which is designed for the strategic transport of personnel and material, plus supplying other ships. Carrying several landing craft, the Karel Doorman is suited for landing operations with heavy equipment and helicopters. And speaking of helicopters, troops of the Sea Battalion are also trained to deploy in air-mobile operations using helicopters like the Sea Lynx Mark 88A, NH-90, CH-53G Sea Stallion, and H-135. For armament, there's no official definitive list of weapons. However, footage and Bundeswehr articles reporting on the activity of this unit show the G36 as the standard service rifle. We presume that this will change over time to become the G95, just like the rest of Germany's armed forces. Also mentioned or displayed are the Granatmaschinenwaffe, or GMW A1, a 40mm grenade launcher, the Schweres Maschinengewehr M2 QCB, a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, the Rheinmetall MG3 general-purpose machine gun chambered in 7.62mm NATO, and the RGW-60 recoilless rifle, among many other weapons. This isn't meant to be an exhaustive list, so we know we're missing light machine guns, sniper rifles, and more. Nonetheless, being a light infantry unit, it's unsurprising that there are no APCs or IFVs specifically tied to the battalion. But anyway, that's your rough overview of the German Navy's Sea Battalion / Naval Infantry Battalion. It's a unit that somewhat resembles, if not mirrors, the role and structure of other amphibious units we've already covered, but it's interesting to see how this particular unit is so tightly connected to their Dutch counterparts. But what do you think of this unit? Let us know by leaving a comment.